So hey everyone and welcome back to Geeks for Geeks. Guys, in this video we are going to start with introduction and roadmap to ReactJS. We are going to discuss a very basic roadmap of ReactJS, the complete roadmap which I followed for learning ReactJS and ReactJS only, not after that. Okay, after that I learned MERN stack, but we are not going to discuss that. We are going to just focus on ReactJS for now. Okay, and apart from that, we are going to discuss some basics of ReactJS. We are going to create some basic projects, and after that, guys, we are going to make a game that is a dice rolling game. Okay, so Vashish, React की series live start करिए भैया. Depends if this video gets more reach. Definitely, yeah, we would love to take a complete playlist on React.js, and after that we can go for React.js frameworks like Next.js, or we can go with mobile app development like React Native. Okay, so it all depends on the reach, but definitely I'll keep this one in my mind, right? So let's discuss what's exactly React.js. Then guys, we're going to move towards our conclusion, the roadmap of React.js, some basic concepts of React.js, and then guys, we're going to make a dice rolling game. Okay, very simple dice rolling game. It's a 2D game, not 3D game. 2D game. Okay, good with Dilip. Good morning. All right, so let's begin. So first of all, guys, what is React.js? React.js is kind of like as a beginner, you might know about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So React.js is basically a library of JavaScript. Okay, it's a library of JavaScript. It basically is used for building websites. Okay, if you want to build websites like YouTube, or you want to build Facebook, like web version, the website of Facebook, somewhat websites like this, or if you want to build Netflix, so for the front end, for the UI, like you see different movies, then you see different buttons and so on, that UI is basically a website. The complete website can be built using React.js. Okay, so if you are a beginner, you might know about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? So these three were core building blocks of web development. React.js is nothing but combination of all these three. Okay, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So inside React.js, we basically have JavaScript elements. We have different components where we actually write the similar HTML code, the CSS styling, and then the JavaScript logic. Okay, so it's all merged together basically in React.js, nothing else. And also we get some more functionalities. Like if I give you a very basic example, you would see that in your mobile apps, if you are chatting with someone, you don't need to refresh the page again and again to receive new messages, right? You see the real time updating without actually refreshing the page. So that can be easily done with frameworks or libraries of JavaScript. That is, you can go with React.js, or you can go with Angular, or you can go with Next.js. So we have a lot of functionalities which add on apart from plain HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, that's why we learn these. That's why we learn React.js. That's why we learn Next.js, because we get different features, right? To get real-time updates without refreshing the page, and to build single page or different types of applications, right? It's used for building fast, scalable, and easy to maintain application. It actually enhances the user experience. Someone who is using the websites would genuinely say, okay, I don't need to refresh it again and again. It's giving me real-time changes. Like if suppose from the backend a new field is added, so you don't need to refresh the page, you get the changes in the real time. You don't need to do anything, automatically changes are refreshed, new field is added automatically. Okay, so these kind of things are possible in these frameworks or libraries. Okay, by the way, React.js is a library of JavaScript. Angular is a framework of JavaScript. Okay, so if I discuss the difference between library and a framework, so React.js is known as a library because it does not have much inside inbuilt. We have to install a lot of things using packages. Okay, we will see what we need to install. But in Angular, you get everything inside Angular. You don't need to install a lot of things separately, because that's the difference. That's why React is a library where you would need to install a lot of things inside React.js separately. Okay, and Angular is a framework because Angular does not need much of installation for basics, right? So yeah, we are going to discuss React.js now. So the feature which React.js gives us on top of HTML, CSS, JavaScript is it gives us components. Okay, so if I give you an example, if I give you a very good example, suppose I'm building a website. Okay, I'm building a website and I am a total beginner. So suppose this is my home page. Okay, suppose this is my about page, right? And this is my contact page. Suppose I'm building a portfolio website. Okay, so let me just make it blue and green. So you can see I have different pages. Suppose I want to use navigation bar in all these three pages. Okay, so at the top you would see some similar navigation bar. Okay, so I'll just make a navigation bar here. Okay, and I'll just write here nav nav bar, right? So yeah, we have a nav bar, and I'll also give it some color. Okay, so we have a nav bar here, we also have a nav bar here, and we also have a nav bar here. So you would see that in home page or in about page or in contact page, the design of nav bar would be exactly same, right? So what we would do in React.js is we would make a component out of it. Okay, we would make a component out of nav bar. Okay, instead of writing code again and again, if we had HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we had to write navbar code here, then here, then here. Every time I have to write the exact same piece of code. So it's kind of wastage of my time. And suppose if at one place I change the UI, I have to do the same things in the next place, again same place in the next place. Instead of this, what I can do is I can just create a component of navbar separately. I can write the code of navbar separately, and then I can import my navbar here or here or here. I don't need to write the code itself in the page, in home page, about page, or contact page. I can just import my component. So whenever I make a change in my navbar, automatically it's updated in my home page, automatically it's updated in my contact page, automatically it's updated in my about page, right? So that's what is the feature which is given by React.js. That is the components. We can create components like navbar, footer, body, etc. And then we can use them again and again without needing to rewrite the code in same page again and again, right? So that's the benefit which we get, right? React.js is a JavaScript library. Yes, exactly. It's a single page application like Facebook. Exactly. You are correct. Code with Dilip. Okay. So yes, I hope you got very basic that why we are using React.js. Basically, we can create components and we can use it again and again, right? Now, the second is declarative UI. You can define what you want to render, and React takes care of updating it efficiently. So automatically we get updates. We don't need to reload the page again and again. We can get real-time changes. We can make a very good dynamic UI. We can make 3D websites and so on very easily in React.js, right? Then what else we get is we get a virtual DOM. So React uses a virtual DOM to improve performance. So what we actually get in React.js is, so suppose if you are having a normal HTML based application, okay, so let me just take an example here. What I'll do is, suppose I have a website named as portfolio, portfolio, portfolio website. Okay, so this is a portfolio website, right? So suppose in HTML, what I did was, I suppose I want to go to home page. Okay, so I would be creating a file named as home.html. Okay, so I hope my handwriting is fair enough. Home.html, something like this. Okay, similarly I want to go to about page, so I would create about.html, right? Similarly I want to go to contact page, so I would be creating contact.html, right? So this is what we do in normal HTML CSS based uh, application websites, right? So we have to create different HTML files, and then I have to navigate it like that. But what we can do in React.js is pretty simple. What I can actually do is define I can just define my route somewhere. Okay, so I can just define my route somewhere. For example, I'm going to define here, um I'm just gonna create a dictionary kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna say that whenever someone asks for this route, so send the user to home component. That's it. Just like navbar component, I can create a home component. Similarly, I suppose if someone asks for slash about, then go to about component, and so on. So in React.js, routing is happening just like this one. So here we are gonna have a file where we're gonna define everything like a dictionary. Okay, all of my routes like a dictionary, and then in that I'm just gonna redirect the user to that specific component. Okay, so everything is component in React.js. Everything is component. Okay, component inside component inside component, right? Exactly what React.js is about, right? So if you are finding this stuff really new for you, then just wait for a few minutes. I'm going to show you all of these things practically by building a simple application. Okay, so just wait for that, right? So this was the benefit of React.js, and kind of I'm gonna create my routing system like this. Okay, so now guys, I'm gonna discuss some prerequisites of React.js which you must know always before starting. Okay, so let's start with prerequisites, right? Prerequisites of React.js, right? So let's write them. Okay, so the number one prerequisite of React.js was HTML, right? So you must know HTML, right? Then guys, you must know CSS. Okay, so you must know what? You must know CSS, CSS, right? And then guys, you must know JavaScript. JavaScript is the brain of React.js. Without JavaScript, you cannot learn React.js. So make sure you learn JavaScript properly. Although when I was a beginner, I was good in HTML, CSS, but I was lazy enough to learn JavaScript. So what I did was I started learning React.js, and along with that, I just completed my JavaScript. So you can do that also, because React.js itself uses JavaScript, so you are using JavaScript only at the end. Okay, so but I would suggest at least learn all the concepts of JavaScript, because these concepts would be used in React.js. So yeah, please learn HTML, CSS and JavaScript properly. In HTML you must be known with basic tags, forms, tables, etc. So you can just go to Geeks4Geeks channel. Let me just show you where you can just find my HTML video. So you can just go to live section. Okay, and actually, let me just find that for you all. Just a second, guys. Yep. So you can actually visit this playlist. There you would find all tutorials. One of them was HTML tutorial. Okay, so you can just watch this one to know the basics of HTML. Then you can watch this one to basics of CSS, right? So yeah, your basics would be covered. Then for JavaScript, you can just search some resources on YouTube or Google. You would find JavaScript-based tutorials also. Let me just tell you what concepts you must know in JavaScript. HTML, CSS, yeah, it's like you need to learn completely, because there is nothing much to learn in HTML and CSS. Okay, so you must learn everything. And in JavaScript, you must know these concepts. What? You must know variables, arrow functions, template literals, spread operators, rest operator, destructuring, modules, promises, async await, DOM manipulation. Okay, so these are all the things which you must know in React.js. Perfect. And if I talk about HTML and CSS, you need to learn complete HTML and CSS. These are the prerequisites of React.js. Okay, so you must learn this first, then start learning React.js. Okay, so after this, guys, I am starting with React.js. Okay, so I'll just say that now we are going to talk about React.js basics. After that, I'm going to talk about intermediate topics of React.js, right? And after that, I'm going to talk about advanced topics of React.js. Perfect. So yeah, now we're going to discuss the roadmap like this. Okay, so I'm going to divide it in three sections actually, like this. Okay, so yeah, this is perfect, right? So now let's talk about React.js basics, what you must learn in React.js basics. So basically you must know what is React exactly. Then you're going to start with installation of React.js. Then you're going to learn core concepts like components. Okay, you're going to learn core concepts like components. Okay, then guys, you're going to learn about JSX. Okay, so what is JavaScript XML? Basically the format which combines HTML, CSS and JavaScript together, right? And they're basically at the end used in components only, right? And you must know about what are props. Okay, what are props? So for example, if I talk about props, so let's take example of this. So you can see that kind of we have an ID here, right? Right? So basically this YouTube page is extracting this ID. Okay, so kind of this is a parameter which I am sending to this page. Similarly we have props. Similarly we have props which we are going to send into our components, right? So yeah, you need to learn about props. Then guys, you would be learning about states. Okay, what is state? Like for example, right now my name is Harshal. Okay, I can change my name to Viraj. So Harshal was previous state, current state is Viraj, right? So you can see state is changed. Okay, so we are going to learn about states. Okay, very important. Then guys, we're going to discuss about events. Okay, so you must know events. What are events? Events is nothing but like, if I give you an example, what happens if I click this button? Okay, if I click this button, bomb explodes. Okay, so explosion of bomb is basically an event, right? Similarly, we have events. Okay, then guys, we have conditional rendering. So you must know about ternary operators. Then you must know about and symbol or symbol, if else condition, which you learn in basic JavaScript. Okay, so you'll be learning this much in basics of React.js. Okay, then if I talk about intermediate level, so you'd be learning about different hooks. So one of them is use effect hook, which is basically used in component lifecycle. For example, right now I'm in this page, so you can see this data is there. Suppose if I go to some other page, okay, suppose if I go to some other page, so I would say that previous data is not needed in me for me right now. So I'll just erase that. Okay, so previous data was only useful till that time. After that, I would remove that. So that's the life cycle. Okay, life cycle. Basically, I got the data, I erase the data. That's the cycle. That's called as life cycle. Okay, so you need to get the data and clear the data so that your website runs smooth. Okay, so that their cache doesn't pile up, right? So that's what it is. Okay, fine. So now let's continue, guys. We are going to also learn about hooks. So we have different hooks like use context hooks, use state hook, use effect hook. So you are going to learn these. Okay, then guys, you're going to learn about map. Okay, which you already know in JavaScript, like how to map. Actually, it's like suppose you have 10 elements, so you're going to map one component 10 times. Okay, same component 10 times. You don't need to write the stylings 10 times, the UI 10 times. You're just going to call component once and just show it 10 times. Okay, so you're going to learn about mapping. Okay, how to map data again and again and again and again, like that. Okay, and also you would be learning about keys. You're going to learn about different props and so on. Okay, so map key and so on. So you're going to learn all of this at once only. Okay, then you're going to learn about forms. It's like how to give inputs and how to just submit form to database. You need to learn all of these things. Okay, how to get data together. Basically for this you are going to use the use state hook only, nothing new. And then you're also going to learn about stylings. Okay, so it's nothing but CSS only, which you learned in the CSS part. Okay, so stylings, right? Then after this, guys, you jump to the advanced level. So basically in advanced level we have routing. Okay, so we have routing. Then we have state management. Okay, so basically suppose right now I am logged in as this user, right? As this user, I'm logged in on YouTube as this user. So what I want is whenever I go to any other page, I'm still logged in, right? So it's basically remembering it that this user is authenticated, this user is logged in. I don't need to ask them how to log in. Okay, this user is already logged in. So for that, you need some state management. State management is nothing but remembering that you have done something or you haven't done something. Okay, so state management would be like user is authenticated, so value would be true. So state would be true. If user is not authenticated, state would be false. Okay, so we are going to learn that also. Okay, I mean you are going to learn that. I'm just telling you these are the concepts. So state management, you need to learn this. Fine. Then you're going to learn about API and fetching. Okay, APIs and fetching it. Like for example, I go to profile page. So I see my data. So my data is somewhere stored somewhere, right? So that data is coming from somewhere. It's basically coming with the help of API. So you need to learn about APIs also, basics of APIs. Okay. So you'd get in a lot of playlists, they teach it. Okay. Then guys, we have different optimization techniques, SEO techniques, and so on. Okay. So you can just say that you're gonna learn about use callback. Basically, this is for optimization of the website. Use memo. Okay, so these are two hooks which are really important, and I would say at least learn these two also. Okay, apart from use state and use effect. Okay, then these are the two concepts which actually help make React.js websites faster. Okay, so now after that, we have different tools apart from React.js. You're going to learn about Next.js or different frameworks of React.js. Okay, so React.js is itself a library of JavaScript, but frameworks of React.js are Next.js and so on. So you need to learn about Next.js also after this, because currently we don't use React.js. We mostly use Next.js now, which is modified version of React.js, right? So you're going to learn all of that. Then apart from this, you can learn about backend like Node.js, Express, MongoDB. Okay, that's what we call MERN stack: MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. Okay, so you already know React.js. You need to learn about MongoDB, Express.js, and Node.js. Okay, so apart from that, you can learn, apart from React.js, you can learn the backend part also. Then you can also learn about Git, GitHub. You can also learn about AWS. That are some extra knowledges, but in React.js, you have to learn only this much. And only this much, I mean, you must know the basics of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then learn this, then try to create projects. Like you can make Netflix clone, you can use dummy data. Obviously you don't have to get actual movies, you can use dummy data, right? So these are things which you can do. So guys, this is a very basic roadmap. Now if I talk about projects, so what projects can you make? So you can make basic projects like counter app, to do app, weather app as a beginner. Then you can make intermediate level projects like e-commerce app, blog app, user management system. Then in advance, you can make a full stack MERN application, social media clone, you can make Netflix, YouTube, and so on. Okay, so this is what you can make overall, right? So now guys, I am going to say that we have knowledge. Okay, you have to follow this path, right? We have to follow this path. But now let's try to dig into React.js. Okay, so first of all, we need to install React.js. So for that, guys, you need to just use a few things. So what you need to do is you just need to install VS Code. So VS Code is an IDE which we actually use to write React.js code. Okay, so we can actually get a lot of shortcuts and so on in VS Code. Okay, so you can just download it for Windows and you just need to install it. Okay, so while installing VS Code, just make sure you check all the checkboxes in the setup. Then your installation would be done. Then similarly, you need to install what? You need to install Node.js. Okay, so Node.js is important. So you can just search for Node.js. It's free. You can, this is also free by the way. You can just download Node.js and just install the setup. Just click next, 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 and then your setup would be installed. Okay, so if you wanna just check, so you can just see basic code is also here. Some like if you in future you're learning backend, so you'll be learning backend in Node.js. Some people might learn backend in Node.js, so this is very important. Okay, so it must be there. Okay, so it's very important, right? So Node.js is installed, VS Code is installed. Now what else do you need? You need documentation of React.js. Okay, so React.js docs, that's it. You just need this, nothing new. So you can just go here and you can just go to learn React.js, and you would see that you would get a documentation of React.js, complete documentation. Okay, so let's start with this documentation only. So here in the installation, you can just see start a new React.js application, and here you can see they are themselves mentioning create next app. Okay, so but this is for those people who are learning Next.js, but right now we are just focusing on React.js. So what we must do, either you can install using Next.js, that's also fine, or you can right now learn basics of React.js, then shift on Next.js. That's also fine, that's also valid. So what we are going to do is we are going to right now only focus on React.js, not Next.js. Okay, Next.js we can focus on later on. First we learn proper React.js. Okay, so yeah, let's do this. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a fresh React.js application and let's learn some basics. Okay, so I'm gonna go to any of my directories and I'm just gonna say GFG React.js. Okay, so I'm going to create a fresh, I'll just first of all open VS Code here. So you can see VS Code has opened here, right? Now guys, I'm going to go to the terminal, new terminal, right? And here guys, I'm gonna say I need to use a command. So the command is basically npx create react app, and you need to name your app. So I'm just gonna say let's call it dice game. Okay, I'm just naming it like this only, dice game. And right now we are going to make a very basic project, but later on we are going to make dice game also inside this one. But let's first of all discuss the basics components. What is component, what is basic term in React is. Okay, we'll discuss that first. So It's gonna take a few seconds or few minutes, maybe depends on you, right? Rocket says hi. Hi, Rocket. Okay, guys, so now you can see that it's installed. So what you need to do is right now you can see we are in this directory and our project has been created in this. So I'll just open it with what? Integrated terminal. Hi, Shubham. Right? Perfect. So you can see that here, our directory is here, our folder is here. What's your name? Shubham, my name is Harshal Jain. Okay. So yeah, here I am just going to say, just go to src and look for app.js. So kind of memories are refreshed, right? So you can see that, okay, so this is what HTML div tag. This is what, this is whole JavaScript function. Okay. And this is what I'm exporting this somewhere. Pretty much readable, right? It's somewhat readable, very easy syntax. Okay, even if you are a beginner, you are getting a little bit of idea. Okay, so I'm using some CSS file, just like the CSS which we learned in HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Okay, I'm using a function like JavaScript. Okay, this function returns a box, returns some UI, some design, which I'm using it again and again somewhere. Okay, basically this is a component. Okay, I can call this component wherever I want. Wherever I call app, it would be showing me this UI. Okay, so if I go to index.css, if I go to app.css, so you can see that this is the same CSS which we have learned, right? And then if I go to index.js, you are guiding us nice. Yep. Thanks, Shubha. Thanks, Shubha. Okay, so here you can see that we are calling app inside index.js, right? Pretty much, okay, we are connecting things, okay? I don't know what is this React DOM. I don't know what is this, but we are able to connect this. Okay, so I'm calling app here. Basically, I've designed my app here and I'm calling it here. Okay, so I just need to name the term, tell its location, and automatically this whole piece of code along with the logic which I'm going to write here somewhere here would come inside index.js. So somewhat you can say that it saves us a lot of lines, and instead of this index.js I can call app in other page also. So there are no restrictions. Okay, so this is actually a component which I can call it again and again in different pages. Even I can call it multiple times in the same page also. That's also fine, right? But yeah, right now we are going to do it like this because this is the standard which everyone follows in React.js. Okay, so you need to learn right now. I'm just telling you very basic thing. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm taking a complete course on React.js. Don't take it that way. I'm just giving a very basic overview of React.js. Okay, so don't ask me the meaning of this or this. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about what we do in React.js. Okay, so you know that we have called app inside this, and you can consider app as our starting point. The main file which loads first is basically this one. After that app loads. Okay, obviously because app is called inside that file. Okay, so that it's all about React.js series. Yes, I think definitely if we get good reach in this video, why not we must take a complete series on React.js, right? Definitely we'll think about that depending on the reach. Okay, so please share it with your friends and also hit that like button. Okay, and you can also comment below requesting the team so that they ask me to take it. Okay, right? So right now you can see we are in app.js. Okay, so you can see some text is here. Okay, and some a tag, that means some link is here, and what, and some image is here. This is nothing but HTML code here, nothing else, right? Pretty understandable. If you know HTML, CSS and JavaScript, this is nothing new for us. I think people say that okay, React.js is a very big deal. No, it's not. It's just you need to know the basics, then you're good to go. You just learn everything throughout. Some things are definitely new and you need to learn a lot inside this, but that doesn't mean it's too difficult. It's something which is pretty easy if you are aware of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we are aware of this. You can see the basic boilerplate just contains HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, CSS file is loaded from there. Just a second. All right. All right, right. So yes, we are just going to now cover this one. Let me just start this application. So how to start the application? So generally what we do, we just go here and we try to look for starting method. So you can see here we have script. Okay. So npm is the basic command which is every time followed in React.js. After that, if I click on start, if I write npm start, it would start my application. So you need to read it this way. If you even don't know this, but you need to know, okay, what's the command? So you see, okay, start is written here. That means we have to write npm start to start the application. Okay. Is React.js complicated to learn? No, it's not that complicated to learn if your basics of JavaScript are completely clear. Okay. Dilip is saying it's JSX syntax. Yes, exactly. Overall, we call it JavaScript XML, combination of all these three, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? So you just need to write npm start. Okay, so you just need to write npm start. Okay, so you just write npm start and you can see, okay, my other projects is already somewhere. Anyways, I can just press Y. So it would automatically start a project. Okay, so you can see that this is here. And what is this? This is an image. Okay, what image? Basically this image. Okay, this image, right? A logo. If I tell you where is my logo, you can see that this is kind of an SVG. Okay, so yeah, this is SVG image. Okay, what is difference between React.js and Next.js? The difference between React.js and Next.js is Next.js provides additional features, some modified version of React.js. Okay, in overall terms, in basic terms, I'm just saying that Next.js is modified version of React.js. That means React.js and some extra features is Next.js. That's it. Okay, so you need to know React.js before going to Next.js, right? So now guys, we are going to discuss this. So suppose right now I'm going to comment this out. So for commenting this out, I'll just press control and forward slash, okay, and in any line which I want to comment, right? So now what I would do is I'll just press save. So control S, it would just refresh, right? And now you can just come back here and you can see that the logo is gone. Okay, so now here I'm just gonna say that, okay, so I'll just say that here I want to write something like, hey there, this is my first React.js application, right? Exactly. And suppose here I have an A tag. You also don't need this, by the way. Okay, so you can see that basic HTML tag, A tag, right? So here suppose I want to mention some link, so I'll just mention link of suppose my GitHub account. Okay, so here I'll just mention the link of my GitHub account. Okay, and check out my GitHub account, right? I'll just save this. Now let's go to our project and you can see, hey there, this is my first React.js application. If I click on this, you can see it's taking to my GitHub account. Yes, pretty easy, right? So you can see that what else can you do is, suppose if you want to modify the CSS, so you can see that it's using app.css. Okay, suppose I want to modify it, so I'll just go to app.css and you can see they are using this background, so I'm just gonna use this background, suppose. Okay, and what else you want to change? You want to change the color or what else? So you can see everything is just basic classes. We have defined the classes here and we are using them here. Similarly, we can go for IDs also and so on. So everything is already covered there in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can see that the background change. By the way, I don't like this one, but anyways, okay. So I'll just make it back. Control Z. It would just revert the changes, and now you can just have this back, right? So it was pretty basic, which we learned. Now, suppose one more thing which you would see a lot in React.js is what? People are going to tell you that this is JSX. What is JSX? JSX basically stands for JavaScript XML. Okay, so it's syntax extension of JavaScript. used in React.js. Okay, so you can see that this is what? This is JavaScript function, right? So we are just extending it, connecting it with HTML and also CSS, right? That's what JavaScript XML is, JSX, right? So it looks like HTML, but it works inside JavaScript, right? So you can see it looks like HTML, but works inside JavaScript function, right? And every JSX element must be enclosed in a single parent element. Okay, so yeah, basically you can see that it's a single parent element and it's enclosed. You can see everything is written inside a single parent. You can see div is a single parent, right? So that's it. Okay, so now we are going to create a very first component. So you can see that I suppose need to write it this way. So you can see I'm calling same thing 5 times, 4, 5 times. Okay, 4, 5 times. Suppose it was a very big text, something like this. Okay, and something like this, a very big text. Or let me just write here in a better way. I'll just write. Okay, we don't have lorem here. Okay, anyways, okay, let's keep it this way only, right? So you can see that suppose I'm calling same paragraph again and again and again. Okay, so let me just do one thing, guys. Okay, so right now here you will see that I'm calling same paragraph again and again and again. So here you can see that it's wasting a lot of my page lines. So what I can do is I can create a component of this. Okay, so let's create a component. So here I'll just create a directory, a folder known as component. Okay, components actually. Okay, inside this I'm going to create a file. I'm just going to name it as my intro or anything, whatever you want to give. So I'm just naming my component like this. So my first letter is capital and then whatever name you want to give. Okay, so my intro.js, and here guys I need to create a React.js template. Okay, so what I can do is I can just install an extension. You just need to search for ES7. Just search for this and ES7 plus. Just install this one. Mine is already installed. Once it is installed, then you can go here and you're just gonna type RAFCE. Okay, that's it. So you can see that you got a very basic JavaScript XML for this file. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this. Okay, and I am gonna paste it here. Okay, I'm gonna paste it here, right? Now what else I'm gonna do is I am gonna say that I'll just remove all of these repetitions, and here I'm just gonna say just call my intro. Okay, as soon as you type this, you can see automatically it would be imported. Import my intro from component slash my intro. Yes, exactly the path. I'm just importing it. So if I just save it, you can see it's called first time. Okay, so if I just copy and paste it a few times, you would see that it's called again and again and again. So that's what the component is used for. You can call them again and again and again. Suppose now I wanna suppose pass some prop, so I'm just gonna say that suppose name equals, in this case name is what? Suppose I want to say name is Harshal, Harshal. Okay, and suppose here I'm just gonna pass uh, A Harshal, B Harshal, and something like that. Okay, okay, something like this. So you can see that I'm passing different values here, and inside my intro I'm just gonna say that here I'm gonna import my prop. Okay, so suppose if I import name prop, okay, let's say this is my name prop, and stop I am, and here if I just say name. Okay, so if I just save this and let's see, so you can see that objects are not valid. Okay, basically I am getting an error because here you can see, okay, I had to pass the brackets, I'm sorry. So here you can see that I am Harshal, I am A Harshal, I am B Harshal, I am C Harshal, right? So you can see I'm calling same component again and again. Okay, but with different values. I'm providing a different value, so these values are basically props. Okay, these values are basically props, right? So this is what we have. Okay, this is what we get, pretty easy, right? Now guys, if I talk about some states. Okay, if I talk about states, so let's take one state. Okay, so for example, I'm just gonna say that count. Okay, suppose I'm getting some variable here, and I'm gonna say that value is count. Okay, suppose I'm keeping it like this, and here I'm gonna define count. Okay, here I'm just gonna say suppose count, and I'm just defining it like what? I'm defining it like 0. Okay, so I'm just saying my count value is 0. Okay, so if I just save this and if I go here, you can see value is 0. Okay, value is 0. Suppose I have a button here. Okay, suppose I have a button here. So let's say I have a button here. Okay, I have a button here, or not here, actually here. Okay, so I have a button here. Okay, so I'm just gonna say suppose my button is increase. Okay, increase button. Okay, and similarly we have decrease button, so decrease, decrease button. Okay, actually I'll just define it there only. Okay, so that it makes more sense. So I have two buttons. Okay, increase and decrease button. So if I click on this button, I want to increase the value of count. If I click on this, I want to decrease the value of count. So what I can do is I can just use states. So here we have a state. Suppose I'm just creating a variable here, count, and I'm gonna say that its function would be um, set count. Actually, I'll just name it as set count. First, use state. I'll just keep its value as 0. Fine, looks good, right? And here I'm just gonna say that on click. Okay, I am gonna say I want to increment the value of count. So initial value of count is 0. I want to increment the value of count. So I'll just say set count get current value of count. Okay, get current value of count and increment it by 1. Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, pretty easy, right? And similarly, if I talk about decrease, I'm just gonna say get current value of count and decrease it, right? Pretty easy. Now its value is increased or decreased, whatever value it is, you'll get it here. So you have to pass that. Okay, you have to pass that. Okay, so I'm just passing this value which is updated here. Okay, so this function decreases, this function increases, and whatever the value is, pass inside this component. Let's try to get that. So you can see it's like this. So if I click on increase, you can see it's increase. If I click on decrease, I can decrease it, right? So you can see this is it. Suppose I don't want to go beyond 0, that means below 0. Suppose I don't want negative numbers, so I'm just gonna say that if count is greater than 1, then only allow to decrease. If it became 1, if it's greater than 0, I'm sorry, suppose if it's greater than 0, that means if it's 1, then only it can become 0. If it's 0, it cannot become -1. Okay, so I'm just saying that if count was greater than 0, then only allow it to be lesser. Okay, so if I just refresh, you can see it's decrease won't work, but now if I increase, it would work. If I start decreasing, you can see below 0 it doesn't go. Okay, so this is some basic which I wanted all of you to know. Okay, so after that we have a lot of things like routing and so on, which you would learn in proper React.js tutorials, but I'm just telling you that okay, these are some basics which you see in React.js, right? So I hope you got basic idea. Now guys, we are going to make a very basic dice game. Okay, so we are going to make that game and we are going to use that game. Okay, we are going to play that game. Okay, so here in the components, I'm going to create a component named as dice.js. Okay, and here I'm just gonna make a component named as dice.css, right? So in dice.js, I'm gonna say RAFCE, fine, and I am gonna call app.js. Here I'll just remove everything. Okay, I'll just remove everything and I'll just give a h1 tag and I'm just gonna say dice game. Okay, and here I'll just call dice component. Okay, so dice component. So if I just save it, let me just show you how it looks. So here you can see, yeah, we have the dice component and we have the heading of dice game. Okay, right? So basically what we are going to do is we are going to say that inside a division. Okay, so I'll just create a division. I'll just give it a class name. Let's give it a class name of what? I'll just give it a class name of dice container, right? Inside this I'll call dice. Okay, I'll call dice. Okay, copy and paste. I'll call dice 2 times because I want to create 2 dices. Okay, so that it looks cool. Okay, one dice gives 6 answers. 2 dice would give 6 and 6, like that. Okay, so combination would be bigger. So that's why I'm using 2 dices. It looks better. Okay, and then I'm creating a button which is gonna say roll dice. Okay, and yeah, this looks fine. Now let's style this also. Let me just show you how it looks right now. So you can see this is it. Let's style this first. I'm gonna go here in app.css. Okay, and I would say that in app.css we have app, right? So I'm just gonna say that app.app actually, right? Here I'm gonna say text align is center, right? And font family I wanna give is Arial sans serif. Okay, so you can see that right now it looks like this. Fine. Now if I want to style the h1 tag, so I'll just say that font size of 2 rem. Okay, and margin would be 20 pixel. Okay, save it, and then you can see that it has some margin, right? If I give it some background, let me just show you how it looks with the background. You can see, yeah, this is my h1 tag. Fine. So you can style it as per your need, okay, just like basic CSS. Then if I talk about my dice container, right, I'm gonna say justify content center, display would be flex, okay, and margin I want to give as 20 pixel. Okay, so I'll just save it and let me just show you. So you can see that this is basically my dice container. Let me just give it a background again, background color of aqua. It would have some margin. You would see it would have some margin, right? This is my dice container, right? So now let's work inside this one. We'll work inside this one. I'm just gonna say we have button also. So I'm gonna style my button. I'll just say my background color would be hashtag 4CAF50, some greenish color. Okay, then the text color of that button would be white. Okay, and I don't want any border for that button, so border for that button would be none, and padding of that button would be 10 pixel, 20 pixel. Okay, font size would be 1 rem, border radius would be 5 pixel. Okay, and cursor would be, I want it as pointer. Okay, that's it. Now let's check how it looks. So you can see my button looks like this. I want everything in center, so what I can do is here itself I'm just gonna say that height is 100 vh. Okay, right, and display as flex. I want everything in center, so justify content center, align items as center, right? So now you would see that everything is in center. I want things in column, so I'll just say that flex direction is column, right? So let's go again, so you can see everything is column, right? So now guys, I want to focus on my dice. Okay, so I'll just go to dice.js. Okay, and let's focus on that. Okay, so I'm gonna say that I have dice. Okay, so I've called my dice 2 times. Okay, so you can see it's 2 times basically, right? So now I'll just go here in dice. I'm gonna say that suppose to each dice, I'm actually providing some value. Suppose right now this first dice is showing me what number. So value is, suppose this is showing me 4. Okay, right, and also I'm gonna have a variable named as is rolling equals, and let's give it value for now false. Okay, false, and I'll just copy this and I'll just paste it here, and I'll give it value suppose 2. Okay, so these are the numbers which these 2 dices would show, for example. Okay, and I'm gonna say that go to dice.js, and here I'm gonna ask for what, for value and for is rolling. Okay, two prompts which I have sent, right? I'm gonna say that const dice icon. Okay, and here I'm gonna get some variables. Okay, so what variables, what values I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get some icons, 6 icons basically. How can I get that? So I'll just go to React icons website. So React icons, just go here. Okay, just go here and just go to very first page, and you can see that you have some icons here, right? कॉपी पेस्ट मार रहा कोड, कलर कोड किसी को याद नहीं रहता। तो भाई मैंने कब बोला कि मैं कलर कोड में अपने मन से बोल रहा हूँ? कूल बन गए भाई आप तो। लॉजिकल बात करते हैं ना लोग। भाई मेरे को एक बात बता, एक सिंपल सी चीज है, एक सिंपल सी चीज है। अच्छा, आपको आपकी भाषा में समझाता हूँ, ठीक है? ये एक कलर है, ठीक है? ये कलर है। मैं इसकी जगह सिर्फ ग्रीन भी लिख सकता था, ठीक है? ग्रीन भी लिख सकता था, ठीक है? मैंने कलर कोड लिखा है स्पेसिफिकली, तो ऑब्वियस सी बात है ना, मैं कहीं से देख के ही तेरे को बता रहा हूँ। समझा? नहीं समझा? नहीं समझे तो पोगा देखो, ठीक है? ग्रीन कलर याद रखो, आप कलर कोड याद मत रखो, ठीक है? आप बड़े लोग हो। ओके, चलो। अशोक, हेलो अशोक। चलो, लेट्स कंटिन्यू। है ना, करते हैं यार लोग फालतू में। Alright, so yeah, here what we need to do is React icons. Okay, in React icons you need to search for some icons. Okay, so basically there are some icons. I'm gonna search for phase 1. Okay, actually I'm sorry, FA dice 1. Yeah, you can see that I have dice 1. Similarly, I have to use dice 2, right? So you can see I have dice 2 and so on. So I have different icons here, okay, right, in this website. So you can just search for icon names, but what I meant was we are going to use 6 icons, 6 icons. So for that you need to install React icon. So you can just go below and you can go to npm website, okay, and then here you can see npm I React icons. Okay, so copy and paste it there. We have to use the icons in this page, okay, but we are going to install things globally. So first of all, keep an eye on package.json. Since you are a beginner, I'm telling you this right now. You can see that these are the dependencies. Let me install this current dependency. So I'll just go to this path, go to this exact path and paste. Okay, so npm I React icons. Okay, right. So now you can see that this is it, this is it. Perfect. Now React icons is installed. You can see that React icons is installed. Then we can proceed. Okay, you don't need to check it again and again while installing, but yeah, for the first time I'm telling you that things are mentioned here, whatever you install. Okay, so yeah, we have it. Now I am going to import all of my icons. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that import far dice 1, far dice 2, far dice 3, far dice 4, far dice 5, far dice 6 from React icons /fa. Okay, so it would import all these icons basically, right? So I know the icon names and I just mentioned exact icon names. Okay, so it's pretty much relatable, right? Now here guys, I'm just gonna say that create an array. So const dice icons equals brackets, and here I'm just gonna say that far dice 1. Can I copy? Okay, I can just copy it directly, right? So I'm just creating an array of these icons. Okay, array of these icons, and I'm gonna say that if value is 4, call this one, this icon. If value is 1, call this icon. If value is 2, call this icon, right? So I'll just map this. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that const dice icon, which dice icon I want to show. So dice icon equals dice icons. Suppose I provided value 4, that means I'm talking about which index? This is 0th index, that means value 1. If I'm talking about value 4, that means I'm talking about this, that means this is index number 3, right? So I'm just gonna say whatever the value is minus 1. If I want to get 4, then I want to show index number 3, right? Index number 3, right? This is index number 3. That's why value minus 1. Okay. Basic arrays of JavaScript, right? Now I got my icon. Right? I would show that icon. Pretty easy, right? So I'm gonna say that dice icon, and I'll also give it a size. So I'll just say that its size is 200. Okay, 200. Fine, perfect. Let's go here. So now if I go to my website, you can see that one dice is showing 4, other dice is showing me 2. Okay, suppose if I change this number to 1, suppose if I change this number to 3, save this. Now let's go here. One dice is showing me 1, other dice is showing me 3, right? So I think now you are able to connect with this. Okay, yes. Now let's continue. Okay, fine. I hope you know that how we are showing the dices. Okay, so this was how we show the dices, but where is the rolling stuff? Okay, like if I click on this rolling stuff, that means dice rolling. Okay, so if I click on this, how do we roll dice? Okay, गंदी सोच मत रखना, ठीक है? All right, so how do we roll dice? For that, guys, we are going to create a function inside app.js. Okay, I'm gonna get a random number 2 times for this. Okay, so I'm gonna get random numbers. Okay, so I'm just gonna say here I'm just gonna say that let's say dice values. Okay, dice values, set dice values. Okay, and let's close it, equals use state, and here I'm gonna maintain an array of 2 numbers. Okay, because I want to provide 2 values, right? So I'm just gonna say I'll maintain an array of 2 numbers, so 1 comma 1, that's it. So initially I'm saying both dice are showing 1 comma 1. Okay, or you can just keep separate values. So these are initial values. So I'm just gonna say that I want to show here dice values 0th index here. That means this first one is for first dice, this second one would be for second dice. Okay, that means this index is for second dice, this index is for first dice. Okay, let me just change it for now to 3. Okay, so it would show 3 and this would show 1. Let's see. So you can see this would show 3 and this would show 1, right? Exactly. Right now I'm just showing 1 on both dices, right? Pretty easy. Now I have the values. I just need to change these values every time I click on roll dice button. That's my job. Okay, that's what I want to do. So I'm just gonna say that const roll dice equals, and here guys I'm just gonna say that just create a function, JavaScript arrow function. This is nothing but a JavaScript arrow function, right? I'm just calling it. I'm just saying I'll just create a variable. Okay, so again I'll just copy this, and I'm just gonna create a variable is rolling and set is rolling. Okay, and initially its value is false. Okay, initially its value is false. Okay, as soon as I click on this button, okay, as soon as I click on this button, so on click, I want to call roll dice function. Okay, and here I'm gonna say that set is rolling as true. Okay, set is rolling as true, right? Here I'm gonna say that if is rolling function, if is rolling variable is true, this made the value true. Okay, so now this became true. Initially it was false, now this became true. So if the value is true, so I'm gonna say show rolling, right? Else show roll dice text, right? Let's check if it works. So you can see if I click on roll dice, so you can see rolling. Okay, rolling. One thing which I need to do is, if it is rolling, sorry, if it is rolling, then I want to disable the button. So disabled, okay, is rolling value. If the value of is rolling is true, disabled would be true, else it would be false. Let's decide the style of disabled. Okay, so let's copy this button itself. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it here, and I'm gonna say that if the button became disabled, as disabled. Okay, button became disabled. So I want to say just keep its background color as white and cursor as not allowed, not allowed. Okay, and I think rest everything would be taken from this style. Okay, fine. Let's check again. So if I just refresh, you can see if I click on this, right? So you can see it's gone. Let me just make the color of text as black. Okay, and let's go here. So you can see rolling. Okay, but what I want is if I start rolling, rolling must happen in a second, then after that it must stop. So after 1 second I have to just make the variable value as false. Okay, I have to make the variable value as false. How can I do that? In this function I'm going to say after calling this function I made the value true. After 1 second make its value false. Okay, so I'll just run a timer here. Okay, JavaScript timer here. What's a JavaScript timer? It's use timeout, right? So sorry, set timeout, right? Set timeout, and here I'm gonna say that set a timeout of 1 second, that means 1000 milliseconds, right? I'm just saying set is rolling as false. Perfect. So I'm just saying set is rolling as false. So if I just refresh, click on this, it became false. Click on this, it became false. Okay, so after 1 second it became false. This is working fine. Now I need to shuffle these values. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that let value 1 equals what? I'm just gonna say that math dot float. So math is inbuilt in JavaScript, right? So math dot float, math dot random. This is what you have learned in JavaScript to generate a random number between 6 and 0. Okay, 0 and 6. So I'm just gonna increment it by 1. Okay, so it's gonna generate from 1 to 6. Okay, similarly I want to generate another value. So this is again value. So I'm generating two values. Okay, I'm generating two values. Okay, and then I'm gonna pass them. So set dice values. I'm just passing value 1 and value 2. That's it. So once this variable is updated, okay, this variable is updated, I am passing two random values between 1 to 6 to this variable. It would be passed in the dices, and automatically dice images, dice icons would be updated. So if I click on this, you can see that it's updating, it's updating. Okay, so you can see the game is almost complete. Can see it's giving me random values. Right now what I need to do is I can also give it a rolling animation also. Okay, so I'll just go to dice.js and I'll just say that here I'm just calling is rolling. So whenever it's rolling I want to show some rolling animation. Okay, so I'll just say that class name, and I'll just say that here first of all take the dice stylings, and also I'm gonna say that if is rolling variable is true, then add an extra class named as rolling, else don't add any extra class. So this class would always be there, but this extra class would be added. So I'll just save it and I'll import dot slash dice.css. Okay, so I have imported dice.css. Okay, dice.css. Now I'm gonna write some css in dice.css. Okay, so I'm just gonna say that what would be my dice. Okay, so styling of my dice. So I'm just gonna say that display of that would be, I want inline block. Okay, I want some margin for the dice, 10 pixel each dice would be having the margin. Transition would be transform. Okay, transform 0.5 second, erase. Okay, actually I'll just make it 1 second only. Okay, so that complete transformation happens, it does not reverse. Okay, and I'm gonna say that dice dot rolling, if it has rolling class, if that division also has a rolling class, then add transform property. So transform rotate 360 degree. Okay, that's it. Let's save it. Now let's run this. So if I click on this, so let me just refresh, and I would do one thing, which is transform 1 second is right. Yes. Now let's check it. If I refresh, roll dice, if it is rolling, if dice is rolling, okay, so if is rolling variable is provided, so you can see that we need to provide is rolling variable, okay, then only value would be true or false, else it would be always false, obviously, right? So now if I refresh and roll dice, you can see that it rolled like this. Perfect. Let's make it zero point 0.5 so that it's like half 360 then 360, okay, so 0.5, okay, that's it. So you can just add different css animations like this, right? So you can see that's how it actually works. So you can see, guys, this is a basic dice game which I built for you. Now if you want to check out the source code, what you can actually do is you can actually go to my GitHub account, right? So please make project on video, sorry, please make a video project on React daily, okay. यार आईसेट कमजोर हो गई मेरी, मैं पढ़ भी नहीं पाया. Yes, exactly, I think we can start with a series, but definitely please comment below if you feel like I should take React sessions. Please comment below so that it reaches to Geeks for Geeks official team. Okay, I'm just a mentor, I'm not the owner. So yeah, it reaches the team so that they actually plan out the sessions with me, right? So yeah, you need to take initiative also, right? So I'm going to upload the source code also. Let me just upload source code. I'll just go here and I'll just say just a second, guys. Let me just publish the source code. Okay, so guys, now I have uploaded the source code. What you need to do is, if you want to check out the source code, just go to my GitHub profile. Okay, github.com/VIRA014. You can check out my socials here. In the repositories, you would find Dice Game React JFG. You can just search the repository here. Inside this, complete source code is available. You can see the complete source code is available. App.css, components, dice.js, and so on. Okay, so you can just check out the source code from here, right? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this session, and that's it for today. I hope this is working for you and you got basic idea of React.js, what exactly it is, basic roadmap, and then how to build basic pages, basic games like dice game in React.js, right? So that's it for today. I will see you in the next one. If you want complete playlist of React.js starting live on this channel, definitely comment below, and after this video please comment below so that it reaches to the teams and then we plan out the sessions with Geeks for Geeks team. Okay, so I will see you in the next one. Till then, say a good day. Bye bye.